Hello, folks. Welcome to the Solar Fit Renewable Energy Show. Bill Gallagher back with you again today. We're on a road trip. I'm not going to tell you where it is right now. It's a very, very exciting town that I come over every week to test the brewery to make sure they're working just right. Our Persimmon Hollow friends at Persimmon Hollow. I want to give a shout out to our friends at Daytona Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram for their loyal support for, over a decade, I think. Special shout out to our friend Mr. Daniel Dye, who's competing full-time this year in the Xfinity Series for NASCAR, and he is doing great. A couple weeks ago, he had an 8th place finish at Indianapolis, one of my favorite tracks, called the Brickyard.
Yeah.
Last week, we were up in Iowa, and he was running around 10th and popped the tire in the wall, and that's the way it goes. So anyway, this week, guess where? Watkins Glen, New York. That's right, the home of the initial Grand Prix up in Watkins Glen. It's going to be a hair-raising event, so hope you guys can tune in to CW and watch Daniel hopefully race to a podium finish. He's carrying the Solar Fit colors and the Race to Stop Suicide colors across America to bring attention to a mission we're very, very, very passionate about. Anyway, I'm over here in DeLand, the beautiful city of DeLand. Oh, I gave that away, didn't I? The beautiful city of DeLand.
You buried it.
With Mr. Ben Collins, who's our business director over here. Ben, welcome to the show.
Hey, Bill. Great to see you. Great to be back on.
It's so nice to be able to come over to your home and see what you've done here, man. This is magnificent.
Well, thank you. You've been a big part of it. I mean, you saw it pretty early stages. When I took it over, it was a heavy lift of a project, but we were really blessed and. Not only that we didn't get hit too bad by a tornado, but that it let us replace our roofs, and that gave us a bit of the opportunity to go solar. And we never looked back. It's been fantastic. We've since been able to kind of refit the house with mini splits, which work really well with that Tesla battery. So, we've been happy customers, and because of that, really wanted to spread the word to everybody and get them plugged into the power of the sun, right?
Well, we appreciate that. But the most important thing, Ben, is you recently got married.
That's right. Yeah, married in February. My lovely wife, Joanne. Yeah, we are. We're thrilled, and grateful to have a partner with the same values, loves that we're, that we're clean and that we're really working to get kind of net zero with our house. And so, yeah.
Well, it's amazing. It's quite a job. Give me the history back of the house. I know you remind me of something. You had a tornado or something tear through here, right? Yeah.
So we were when we bought the house. I want to say it was pretty early into COVID. So I guess we got in there. Maybe December of that year, and then COVID hit in March. And I think later on that year, maybe August, a little tornado came through, and it just kind of kissed the corner of our property, but it was enough that they replaced the roofs. And as soon as they got the roofs on, I thought this is the right time to do solar and kind of get everything lined up calendar-wise. But yeah, it's been great, and just a bunch of other little projects at the house. But having the sustainability, having the peace of mind, especially with the battery after a storm that we're back up and running, is really fantastic.
Yeah, the batteries have really become something, and the solar I've always thought is pretty much a no-brainer. You put the solar on there, and all of a sudden you don't have an electric bill, or you've got one that's really kind of fun to pay. You look, hey, honey, what's the electric bill? $25. Right.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Your neighbor says, mine was $350. Says,
yeah.
Ooh, that hurts.
Yeah, and this time of year, you talk to people with houses that are a little bit bigger than that, and you hear what they're paying, and it almost make you fall over. It's so expensive.
Well, particularly the rates over yonder. I call it over yonder because they're like 30 miles from yonder.
Yeah.
From the coast. But, gosh, boy, the rates here have gone up so much, like 20 cents a kilowatt hour. It's just crazy.
Yep.
And they're heading north.
Yeah.
That's what they are up north, right?
Yeah, and I mean, more than ever, if the question of if you could produce your own power, why wouldn't you?
Right.
While you're watching these rates climb is crazy.
It is something. You look at some of these other states like California, and you look at New York and New Jersey and Pennsylvania and all these places where these rates now they're up in the 40s.
Yeah.
And you have to think for a minute and say, okay, now if our rates got there, which they probably will, where do we come up with that additional revenue? How do we all of a sudden double our power bill? Where does that money come from?
Yeah, absolutely. The resource allocation and just the economics of it make it really an obvious next step for so many cases.
Yeah. Well, the battery technology too, and you were one of the early adopters of the Tesla battery.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
That thing's working great.
Yep, it is. Yep, it's operated really, really well, and haven't had to do anything with it. It just kind of hums.
It comes along.
Yeah.
And, the neat thing about that particular application is it's able to track the weather, right? So it looks over the internet and says, hey, there's a storm coming. Speaking of which, last night I have never seen a lightning storm like last night.
It was amazing.
It was unbelievable. And I went to the gym, and the thing hung right over the top of the gym.
Yeah.
And I'm going, I got to get out of here. So I walk out there, and I kept looking,
Yep.
and it let up for just a minute. I bolted for the car. I got halfway there. My phone fell out of my pocket into a puddle.
No.
Yes. Then when I went to plug the darn thing in, of course, you can't charge it. The phones are so smart. It comes on. It says, you idiot. You
Your
dropped me in
phone's
the
wet.
water.
Oh, my goodness.
I took the hairdryer, that bad boy.
No, you're absolutely right though. I don't even get my weather alerts from my weather app. As soon as I get them from the Tesla, it says, "Hey, there's a serious storm coming in. We're going to back up your battery so that the technology is amazing." We were with our friend. Shout out to Lewis Long. We were at dinner with Lewis and Karen last night in Lake Helen, and that thing opened up on us, and we didn't have an umbrella in the car, so we hung out there until that same little lull, and then we finally got back out. But
Lewis stopped by the office this week.
Yeah,
I hadn't seen him in years. He stopped by, just popped in.
Man,
what's going on?
Small
out there?
world.
That's a beautiful house.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's 100 years old, isn't it?
Oh, at least. Yeah. 120, late 1800s. Yeah.
Oh, jeepers.
Yeah. We walked through the little congregational church there as well. Same architect. I mean, the finishing inside is like the same as in his house.
Man.
Amazing.
It's amazing. Yeah. It's not subject to the northern winters where everything covered with ice and snow. And oh my God, it's so good to live down here.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really amazing.
But I'll bet you there's somebody up north right now going, "What are you talking about? This is great.
Yes.
Look at my snowmobile."
Yeah. It's cooking down here, though. Yeah. It is really cooking.
I still think I've got more miles on a snowmobile than I'll ever have in a car, going up there.
Yeah, I bet.
But you get spoiled. You come down here and you spend a couple months and you go, yeah, I think I'm gonna stay here.
Yeah, it's nice to be able to do everything all year round.
Yes.
To bike, be in the water, be in hiking. It's really beautiful.
So you got a lot of irons in the fire here. What else you doing over here?
Well, yeah. So we, you and I, Bill and I have been friends for a long time. We first connected when I was in ministry for, probably 15 years locally, investing in the community. Over the last probably 5 years, I transitioned first into grant writing and then sort of into philanthropy and fundraising. And most recently, and I know this will be catch up because I don't think you and I have even gotten to talk about this, Bill, since the last time I was on the show. I started in December with the Community Foundation of Volusia and Flagler County. So the Community Foundation locally is connected to United Way. That's a unique model. That's not the way with United Way everywhere in the country, but the Community Foundation basically holds the community's endowments. So when the community says, we feel like we need to anchor local resources to solve local problems or to grow a local passion, the Community Foundation holds those endowments. So recently we opened a veterans endowment in partnership with the county, a literacy endowment, an endowment to bring essential services into Flagler County that they were lacking, food security endowment. Still maybe the most excited, one of the first conversations I had was with the Friends of Blue Springs State Park. It's called a CSO, Community Service Organization. And I'm now working with the Friends of Blue Springs State Park, the Friends of Tomoka Basin State Park, to look at opening endowments for the CSOs connected to those state parks to keep their good work going. We're talking with a group called the Clean Earth Initiative. Shout out to Jonathan Rubin. So the Community Foundation is currently holding 44 funds on behalf of the community. And we really say you can't give to the Community Foundation, you can only give through it. So it comes to us, gets passed back to the community. We're the largest grant maker in Volusia and Flagler County. So we hold the community's endowments. We also advise donors and agencies are nonprofits, on philanthropy. So we connect resources to good work locally. So the work I do is called a philanthropy advisor. I basically help guide donors and agencies and ultimately the community to win, which is such a great job, right? What a gift.
Well, you're the perfect guy for that. Because ever since the first time I met you, I said, man, this guy's unique. He's so giving, and all he cares about is the community. When you say grant writer, okay, what is a grant writer? Tell us what that does.
Yeah, so as I transitioned out of ministry, kind of a little bit into COVID, the project I've been working on a long time wrapped up. I went to work for a firm out of South Florida. I was working remotely as a commercial grant writer. So in most cases, this was large for-profit firms that were performing some sort of a function that was solving a community problem. Could be with clean energy, could be with housing, could be with workforce development. and we would basically go and research and find out if there were grant funds, public funds available to help offset some of the work that they were doing. So I did that for a couple years. I ended up leading the grant division for engineered tax services, and then that sort of pivoted into what I'm doing now.
Man, sounds complicated.
Yeah, it seems complicated, but at the end of the day, it's really this simple. And this is back to, this is advising donors, advising agencies. Everybody has a problem they're trying to solve, or a passion they're trying to grow. And so communities, and this is easier with public money, right? Communities, states, and the federal government look at the world and they say, these are the problems we need to solve. Here's the problems we can solve with our staff, right? But there's still a bunch of problems we can't solve with our staff. So they issue what are called RFPs, a request for a proposal, and they say, these are the problems we want to solve. Can anyone out there help us solve them? If so, we have some money to help solve the problem. And so with a tax base, a community says, hey, we want to solve the carbon footprint problem. And so we're going to put $10 million into clean energy because we want to solve that. They then sort of basically sub that out and say, who wants to solve this? You can apply for grants. So, most recently, and I have a small family business that's still doing this grant writing, and this is precisely the kind of thing that I'm working on. Oh, sorry, yeah, I dropped my mic. This is precisely the thing I'm kind of working on with them is really kind of approaching large hospital systems who need to upgrade their energy, and this architecture firm will kind of go in and use grants to sell them, to say, look, we'll come in and do this, $25 million project, but grants will actually pay for a third of it. So yeah, it's in those cases, public money, solving public problems. Then there's the whole world of private grant making, which basically is whoever controls the money gets to define the benefit. So, and that leads into really back into the community foundation and into your, you saying I'm great at this. I thought this was really funny. I did this like 5 years ago as I'm transitioning out of full-time ministry. I did this like life orientation workshop retreat thing with my friend Jacob Hoyer. Shout out to him, Clarity Navigator. And this is my personal mission statement. You'll love this. To lead movements beyond ourselves that celebrate and nourish the common good.
Gosh.
Isn't that crazy? And that's what I'm doing now. That's the job.
It is.
And behind this is the story of me, again, adopting solar, telling everybody that I know, helping them to plug into the power of the sun, and in the process, make our community more sustainable. And so here we are. And if you will, if we've got time, I wanted to talk a little bit about how solar is the common good, and then how we might sort of brainstorm together about solar initiatives and the work we could team up with in the foundation, actually, because there are some precedents for that all over the place.
Well, you got the mic.
All right, here we go. So I did some research and I wanted to share kind of some really cool examples of what's going on in the world bridging community work like I'm doing and solar work like you're doing. So the Brighton Energy Cooperatives in the UK, they raise funds through a community foundation to install solar panels on schools, municipal buildings, small businesses. These are powering local missions and returning modest dividends to residents. The Boardman Hill Solar Farm in Vermont is the first member-owned community solar farm offering democratic governance and community-retained RECs, renewable energy credits. There's tons of these. Denmark, New York, you were just in upstate New York. Community Solar Array helps all the rural farm residents share costs and clean energy benefits. Illinois Clean Energy Foundation, Rockefeller Foundation. My wife is from Puerto Rico, and the town of Adjuntas deployed a co-op-owned solar microgrid after Hurricane Maria that gave these local businesses resiliency during outages, strengthened economic independence. They actually had a great article about this in Time. Now, this is stuff that gets me really excited, if I can turn the page here. The nonprofit solar project in southern Arizona helped local nonprofits install solar systems, saving energy costs, freeing up funds for programming. The Toledo, Ohio Community Foundation connected a solar array project to education, youth job training, storytelling, and regional revitalization through media grants. So, as I think about this, I look at Volusia County and I think, man, we could have a solar grant fund for any number of applications to help people get solar on their houses, to help nonprofits to offset their cost. And I know we talked a while ago when I was grant writing prior to that for-profit role. I was working with Rethink Energy Florida doing development work, and that was we did like a $1.6 million project called the SEED project, which was solar energy equity deployment. And it was a fund that was helping to put solar on low middle income houses in Tallahassee, in these neighborhoods that couldn't otherwise afford it. All sorts of stuff going on in the world where communities are coming together and saying solar is not just for-profit work, and it's not just for those who are ultra wealthy or businesses that are making a bunch of profit, that it has a place really throughout our ecosystem, and community foundations may be a unique place that we could start partnering and finding ways to bring it to everybody.
I can't wait to hear more about it. We're up against a hard break here, Ben. We're going to take a break. Folks, stay with us. We'll be right back. Hi folks, Bill Gallagher with SolarFit here. Have you ever thought about utilizing solar power for your home or business? Well, there's never been a better time to plug into the sun and stop renting electricity. How would you like to let your roof start paying you each month? Give us a call at 445-7606. That's 445-7606, or visit us at solarfit.com and set yourself free.
SolarFit your life and set yourself free with the sun's free energy.
Hey folks, welcome back to the SolarFit Renewable Energy Show. I'm here with my buddy Ben Collins, Director of Sales over here for SolarFit in Volusia, West Volusia. Well, you go to Flagler too, don't you?
Well, yeah, through the Community Foundation I do, but yes, I'm all over Volusia and Flagler County for sure.
Well, I hope you listened to the first part. If not, go back and listen to our podcast. But Ben, I got a question for you.
Hit me.
Man, we do a lot of work with churches, but we don't do anywhere near what we should do because the churches are strapped for money sometimes, and they really can't get any kind of loans through a conventional lender. This grant thing could be huge. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, sure. So again, I think that you're gonna be hard pressed to qualify for public money probably as a church because you don't pay taxes. On the other hand, the private grant side, there are private and family foundations all over the country that are either religiously based or somehow affiliated. There are also grant portals available through denominations. My ordination's in the United Methodist Church, but I know that Methodist, UCC, Presbyterians all have sort of clean energy commitments, creation care kind of stuff. So whether or not those, and I know you and I have talked about this in the past, whether or not those churches could qualify for grants probably requires a little bit more of a look into what their denominational affiliations are. But I also think they could read our commercial sales brochure and make the same leap that it's worth it just based on economics. And then to your point, how people can get creative with financing, that would be another place where if the community foundation held some sort of a solar loan fund, they could be the ones who could say, hey, we're going to come and do the kind of lending into nonprofit applications that won't qualify for traditional lending. Yeah,
that's all. We need your guidance there, Ben.
Well, I'm learning, but I'm always learning, and I'm always trying to be creative. So yeah, I mean, if we created, for example, like a Solar for Good grant fund, the foundation could establish what we call a passion fund specifically to help nonprofits. So this could be community centers, schools, clinics, churches, and say install a rooftop solar. Maybe it's paired with battery storage. Savings could be reinvested in programs like low-income housing assistance, workforce development, and these kind of echo what they did in the Southern Arizona nonprofit solar project that was in connection with their community foundation. So yeah, there's absolutely opportunities where we could work together, and I think burdening small agencies and nonprofits and even churches with the cost of some of this stuff is not realistic in the world we live in. But part of what I'm learning in the philanthropy space is that there are many individuals who are wealthy who share these same values. And like we've talked about, some of those people find themselves in churches and places where they could be an advantage to their church. They could come in and help and relieve some of their own tax burden as well.
Amen.
So I'll just give you a couple other examples as I think about what's going on in Volusia and Flagler counties. a commercial solar co-op, so we could support the formation of a small-scale solar co-op that empowers residents and businesses to invest and benefit from some shared solar infrastructure. And this would be kind of modeled after the Vermont Broadman Hill, so that any dividends or any energy credits could subsidize local services, scholarships, again, kind of back into the community. Resilience microgrid plots, and then this is what I did a lot with Rethink Energy Florida, but the storytelling side and youth engagement side, I think, and you do this really well. Obviously, the radio show, and you guys are great with social media presence, but partnering with media, local schools, and telling this story and creating sort of installation builds in neighborhoods, STEM job pathways. And just anything that can reinforce sort of civic participation. So anyway, let me pause. And anything you want to ask or just reactions?
Well, I think one of the statistics that I heard today is when the bill was passed about a month ago that really significantly changed the landscape for tax credits for the renewable energy.
Yeah.
One of the statistics I heard today is it's still 78% supporting renewable energy. So a majority of the country wants to see us continue to grow and everything else. It's very, very inspiring to hear that.
That is an amazing statistic.
Sometimes politics can get in the way of reality, and it's just nice to know that that's not the case, really.
Yeah, no, and I think we've known for some time. You're obviously the earliest adopter I know, but I think that the solar energy revolution can't be put back in the bottle. I think the values commitments are too clear among a group of 78%, and the further into it we get, the further the economics seem to prove out.
Well, I think the fact that solar can be deployed almost immediately.
Yeah.
Whereas any other technology has to be built for it to function. It's really, you're right. It's much, much different than it was 15 years ago. Now there's so much of a trend that people want to save money, obviously. But
absolutely.
If you don't take action now to do that, and again the electric bills get to the point where you can't afford them, then now it's a tragedy.
Yeah. So talk me through this. Let's say I'm working with wealthy donors. Many of them have large residential properties. I'm working with local business owners because we can provide a lot of advantage when a local business owner, say, goes to sell their business. We can offer tremendous tax savings through the foundation. And then we're working with local nonprofits, right, who are doing the best they can. Tell me what's going on from your perspective, just in terms of energy in general. I know we said prices are going through the roof, but maybe for each of those applications, based on what just happened with this legislation, what's kind of available to them right now between now and the end of the year?
Yes.
Say for a private homeowner, a business owner in the county, and then a small nonprofit.
So the residential tax credit sunsets at the end of this year, which gives us a very short window for people to become involved in it. There's good in that it's still available, but the better news is even if they aren't able to take advantage of the tax credit, the rates have gone up so much that it still pencils out as a good investment, even without the credit.
Wow.
But being able to take advantage of that credit, that's like the cream on the top.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
So, go ahead and get solar after the first of the year. Yep, we'll love you to do that. But if you get in there before, you could be looking at maybe another $9,000 in your pocket.
Right, yeah, I remember we did that math, and that's crazy.
Yeah, the commercial side, we've got a little bit more of a runway, but still they're closing that down pretty quickly too. And I think one of the logical reasons is this becomes so dominant. There's like 82% of the energy that went on the grid came from renewable energy. So
really?
Yeah, so you can understand that the people that aren't in the renewable energy are thinking, wait a minute.
They're not getting their slice of the pie, are they?
Yeah, we got to figure something out. I've always said, man, in my mind, it needs to be a fair field. If you're going to cut the credits for one, cut it for all. Let everyone prosper or fail on their own rights, not pick a winner or loser.
Absolutely. There should be no favoritism in the power of the sun,
Correct.
right? That's equal opportunity for everybody.
You think about it, it's pretty darn hard to blast the sun. I mean, it really is. Oh, I don't like that darn sun. It came up today, and all of a sudden I got a tan, and I got all these ladies chasing me. It isn't fair. No, I mean, whatever it is with the sun, it's beautiful. It's free. It comes up. It creates electricity. How can you take your say that?
Yeah.
And intermittent, absolutely. Got to sleep at night. night. If
Absolutely.
it wasn't intermittent,
Yeah.
it'd be like Alaska. You stay up all night. You know?
Yeah, I wonder. It's so funny. I didn't think about this till right now, and it's been on my list to go see the new Superman movie. But I know that Superman is powered by the power of the sun.
Yes,
I don't know
yes.
if you're I've heard it's an amazing movie.
Yes, this house is powered too. For
Yeah.
no, it's just so nonsensical to be fighting against something that's absolutely free,
Yeah.
that's available, and we can deploy right now in our homes.
Yeah.
You put this thing in today, tomorrow you're saving money.
Yeah, absolutely. So last of all, tell me about like a small nonprofit. I'm thinking about like the Neighborhood Center of West Volusia, or a moderately sized church, a couple hundred member congregation. Is that basically commercial? What else might be possible?
Well, right now, the way the bill, before the other bill was passed, they could qualify for direct pay, which meant that they could put the solar on their facility and get 30% payment, which is
a check.
Really cool. And
Yeah.
it really helped a lot of churches and things like
Yeah.
that. That will be going away in the very near future, okay? But it doesn't take away the fact that putting solar on a church that is going to be there for the next 100 years makes all the sense in the world, because you're really paying that money anyway.
Yeah.
Whether you buy solar or you buy electricity, you're paying for that energy. Why not just get it for free?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep, build your own.
Well, I'm talking a lot
generator.
more, and you need to be talking a lot more.
Okay, well, yeah. Let me. That was great, and honestly, I think if you're in one of those situations, please reach out to Bill, reach out to me. And we've been having great conversations with local lenders who share our values and are trying to accomplish the same projects. So get in touch with us, and part of what we love is just being creative and figuring out, in each of those cases. So I'll just land with this. One of the things I found really interesting, and I think this will, maybe to bring us back to what a realistic picture of a partnership with a community foundation might look like. I looked into renewable energy certificates. Are you familiar with these?
Yes,
obviously. So, and it's one of those things that they seem more complicated. They sound more complicated than they are, but they're actually pretty neat to bridge solar projects and community foundation work. So when a solar panel or any renewable energy system generates 1 megawatt hour of electricity, it also produces 1 REC. I know you know this. I'm sharing with our listeners. So that electricity goes into the grid. The REC is like a green proof of purchase. So it shows that specific chunk of energy came from a renewable source. It's basically like it's called an environmental attribute, a traded certificate that's saying we made clean energy. So unit for unit, 1 REC. Why does that matter? So tracking claims, whoever owns an REC gets the right to say that they use clean energy, even if that electricity went somewhere else on the grid, right? They just buy the credit for it, which is why it's called a credit. So that's how like Google or Apple say they're 100% renewably powered. They buy enough credits that it offsets everything they use. So extra revenue for solar projects, RECs can be sold separately from electricity. So that creates a second revenue stream for the owner of the solar. And there's 2 markets, compliance and voluntary. Florida doesn't have compliance currently, so this would just be a voluntary market. All of that to say, how does this link up? Here's a simple, what I would call like a sunlight to grants flow. Step 1, and this is where we left off. Sunlight makes power. Right? It's the best part of the whole thing. Solar array, maybe it's on a nonprofit building, maybe it's on a community-owned site, so it generates electricity. Step 2, electricity and RECs. Like we said, for every 1 megawatt hour that's made, you make another renewable energy credit. Do we need to pause?
Nope. Got about another minute left.
Okay, I can wrap it.
Go for it.
The electricity goes into the grid to power homes and businesses. The REC, that proof of clean energy, was created. Step 3, local businesses, government, even global companies can buy those RECs, so they claim their green energy. Step 4, REC income to the foundation. The money from selling the REC could flow into the community foundation, either into the special clean energy fund we created or just into the foundation's unrestricted grant pool. And then step 5, turning sunlight into impact. The foundation uses those dollars to fund environmental education in schools, hurricane resilience projects, energy efficiency upgrades. Every ray of sunlight helps keep the lights on for our community, literally and financially.
Oh, there you go, folks. Now you know why Ben is my bud, and he is the sharpest guy I know about stuff like this. Ben, thank you so very much. We're almost out of time, man. I can't believe how quickly this goes. Can we do it again?
You pulled, please, yeah, you pulled my string and just let me go. I appreciate it.
Let's see if we grab Richard for the next one.
We absolutely should.
Richard's our friend at Climate First. Let me tell you, those guys rock.
We're having so much fun.
We got a lot of fun.
Yeah,
we'll get him
absolutely.
over here, sure. Folks, we're going to sign off for now. Please tune in this weekend and watch Daniel, hopefully with a podium finish at Watkins Glen.
All right. Thanks for having me, Bill.
Take care, folks.
All right.
Have a good weekend.
Bye.